so let's do a new roll and see what we get for our new library vlog. And it's spinning and it's spinning. YA. Okay. Okay. I like me some YA. Let's see what we get. Okay, so that was exciting. 14 got us. Twin Flames by Olivia Abtahi. I apologize. You know I'm the worst at names. I really am. But gorgeous cover. And it looks like also a New Visions Award winner. So, ooh, I'm excited. The back makes it sound like basically some Jinn are coming into the world of these twin sisters and they're having to battle it out is what it kind of sounds like. I'm excited. On Goodreads, this only had like 95 ratings, but it has a good rating for only having 95 people that have read and rated it. I can't wait to be one of them. And if it's amazing, I highly encourage you guys to pick it up and do the same. We love us a self-published author. I'm not saying that this person is necessarily, but I'm just saying with a low amount of ratings like that, that's typically what that means, or at least a small publishing company. And so we want to support them. We definitely want to support an author that is an author of color or writes characters of color. All about supporting that too. And I love twins, don't you? I always wanted to be a twin. Can you imagine 2 of me in the world? So I'm about 15% into Twin Flames, and we're following twin sisters, Layla and Bianca, who couldn't be more different. And I know it's why, because that's what I spun for this part of the vlog. But it is so not my style. We had a little bit of excitement. I mean, of course, we got introduced to the characters and how they're so different. One is kind of ashamed of her heritage, and the other one is proud of it and embraces it, which is really cool. The household actually speaks 3 languages. They've got Spanish, they've got Persian, and then they've got English, and it's really cool. I think that's amazing that they all speak 3 languages. But it's like in the middle of a birthday party, there's like their neighbor's barn and stuff gets set on fire. So there's a little bit of excitement, and I was into it, and the parents are acting weird, but it's like we're getting the same information over and over again. They keep talking about dad, messing with his ring, the dad emphasizing the girls need to make sure they have their necklaces and rings, and it's so heavy-handed that it's obvious there's some magical component to this, and that's why they need to have these on. And how the girls aren't getting a hint on this, I'll never understand. But it's just boring. It's like we keep getting repeated information, so we're being hit over the head with it as the story goes. And I just don't know. I want to dedicate another, huge chunk of time to continue it like this. It's just not my style. So I'm sorry, I'm going to DNF this one. Nothing wrong with it. Just, I can't get invested, and I get annoyed when things keep getting hit over the head like that. So that's a me problem. So let's move to the new shelf and hope we find something good there. So I am only at 10% in Mystery Royale, but I wanted to go ahead and say a little bit about what this book is about, and it's pulling me in already. This is, of course, YA, but it feels almost like the premise is going to be like Phantasma, although I've not finished reading that yet, but it has a similar vibe to it, I think. So it's windy today. I don't know if you know, if you can tell, but it's a little bit windy today. So anyway, in Mystery Royale, we're following Mullery, whose mother just up and disappears one day and leaves her with her very sick grandmother. And so she has to take a really crappy job to make sure that she can still pay the rent and food and stuff like that. Although how a 16-year-old's part-time job is paying all the bills, we'll go beyond that. So anyway, and she's taking care of her grandma. And her mother's parting words were, if you find the strange happening, you need to run away. And it was very strange message and cryptic, but all of a sudden letters are just being found everywhere, at work in dog food bags, at the house in the fridge there's black balloons in a letter, and it's just all really weird. But she's refusing to open the letters, but she also can't afford to run away because grandma, and so she's really not sure what to do. Then all of a sudden she gets a visitor, and the visitor who comes by has a letter as well and says, you've not been opening it, but just so you know, there's a competition being held at this manor. And if you go to this competition and you win, you will win an inheritance. I can't talk. I'm blaming the wind. And so, of course, this is very tempting for Mullery is her name, Mullory. So anyway, but yeah, so I like the writing style. I'm vibing with it, and I think it is very similar to Inheritance Games, Phantasma. I think it's going to have a lot of similar aspects to it, but the premise said that it was going to have like magical component as well, so yeah, let's do it.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Holy.
It is warm today. It is a random pocket of like 85 degrees when it's been 40s and 50s all week, and I think it's going to cool off and go back to being 40s and 50s for another week. But for today, we have a little glimpse of summertime. So loving it, loving the park vibes and everything. So I'm about 50% into Mystery Royale, and it definitely gives Inheritance Games and Knives Out and Clue like all kind of rolled into one. It's very interesting. It's YA, but it doesn't read too young. Like it's pulled me in. I am dying to know what went down, because it's all of those vibes mixed with magic. So like these clues are sometimes hidden in books that will literally attack you, like Harry Potter books, So yeah, like I'm interested, I'm intrigued, and I'm having a pretty good time with it. So I'm now about 75% into Mystery Royale, and the pacing is kind of slowing down. Hi, Rumble. Essentially, we're still doing these clues and trying to follow these clues and figure out this murder mystery. We still have magic in play. We still have secrets that are being revealed, which is exciting. But the pacing itself it feels like there's a lot of extra detail in there that I don't think is necessary. I don't know if it was just padding or if it's supposed to make us really more connected with the characters, but I'm finding myself getting a little bored and distracted now. So I definitely feel Inheritance Games vibes from that book. But yeah, I'm slowly working it down now to a 3-star because I am just bored, and I'm really hoping it wraps up better than this. All right, I have finished it. It is done. I am going to end on a 3-star rating for this. I was bummed that it slowed down so much. We did have some reveals at the end. The very last line that is said in this is just to die for, and I really, really liked it. but not enough to make up for that middle section. So it's like the first half was amazing, like I've been saying, and nonstop. And then it's like that little middle quarter section there that was just slowing down too much and boring. But it wrapped up pretty good, and I kind of figured out some of the things ahead of time, but I'm really glad I read it. I don't know I would have picked it up otherwise. So once again, this library vlog is really giving me some fun choices. I'm having a great time with it. I highly encourage you guys do this too, because you would be shocked at the treasures you're going to find in your own library. So, but now it's time to go get our recommendation from the librarian. The librarian recommended Circe, and I am excited to read this. I have heard of this for at least a year or two now. It's been on a lot of people's radar, and so I was surprised with the two that I presented to her that I had read that this was the choice, but I'm not mad at it, and I'm excited to go home and get started. So I'm about 10% into Circe so far, and man, you think you know the history of the gods and the crap they pull until you read another book and are like, dadgum. So right now, obviously, we're just getting the background of how Circe came to be and who she's related to on Olympia and how those gods came to be. So we're just kind of getting background information, but we just saw something awful happen to a god who, will just say, helped human beings by giving us fire. So I think you should know who it is. Let me know below if you remember, and how it's kind of shocked her. So her eyes are kind of being opened to maybe the gods aren't the best. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. I am 25% into Circe, and this won't be any spoiler really, because if you know anything about the gods and all of that, you'll know like what's going to happen and stuff. But essentially, these gods are horrible, like absolutely horrible. And they're treating Circe horribly. Now, she did make the mistake of falling in love with a human and then wanting to give him immortality and strength of a god. So she found some plants and whispered some magical words and ended up making him godlike. And then as soon as he was godlike, forgot all about her and wanted a nymph and beautiful others. So unfortunately, she, of course, ends up getting in trouble for using that and gets banished. And while there, though, she starts to get a backbone. She starts to get her own strength. And she ends up like getting a lion familiar and stuff, and it's really cute. She also gets frequent visits from Hermes, and that's kind of where we're at right now as she's coming into her own. A lot has happened for just 25% of the book. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I am now 50% into Circe, and holy cow, it's YA, but I'm just gonna say make sure you look for trigger warnings. I'd forgotten that was a part of her story. She helps these guys and feeds them, and yeah, Rumble. They do not thank her in a very kind way. Thankfully, she knows magic, but yeah, it's hard. And right before that, there's a loss that she has, and it just, it's getting hard. It's getting heavy. It's getting dark, which, I mean, it's the gods of Olympus. You do kind of expect some of that, but just beware. Yeah, what do you think? You're here to protect me, Rumble. You're going to protect all of us. Yeah, you are. I finished Circe, and oh my gosh, some of the stuff I saw coming because I knew the background of, the mythos, the mythology, if you will. But some of it actually took me by surprise. I guess it's not a version I had heard before. And yeah, it was just very well written. Pacing was incredible. It was heartfelt, especially as a mother myself. Like a lot of it hit really, really well. And I got to hand it to the author. This was just chef's kiss. It was so good. I don't want it on my bookshelf and I'm not going to read it again. So a 4-star it gets. If I did half stars, it would definitely be a 4.5. It was absolutely wonderful. I do highly recommend reading this. Song of Achilles, I want to say I gave a 3-star. This I thought was much better. Totally different story, obviously. But as far as like mythologies and retellings, this was gripping. It was wonderful. It was heartbreaking. It was just all the things. So highly recommend it. Loved it. The librarian was spot on. So once again, this vlog needs to get wrapped up into you guys. And once again, I say, talk to your local librarians. They are incredible. And if you can't give them other books in the genre and vein of what you're looking for as barometers for what they should pick for you, do something like this, have a little fun with it. Read a couple and say, this one I gave a 3-star, this one I DNF'd. What do you think? And let them pick for you, because so far they have picked very, very well for me. I am currently doing sprints and trying to get Rumble to get out of the crochet bag so I can crochet, for heaven's sakes. But other than that, I have no huge plans. So I'm going to get back to reading other things. You guys take care. Please like, subscribe, send your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.